Good morning, guys. Welcome back. First and foremost, I feel pretty bad because I promised myself that I would record at least one video a week. I do upload shorts once in a while, but it's been a very busy September and we hit the ground running. We basically just managed this week to close one of our biggest transactions over $5.3 million on Thursday. And we had multiple offers on the weekend and then all the showings that we're doing in September. So it was a very busy September. And this morning, like most mornings, I can't sleep. I'm not sure if you relate. So I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I figured I'd do some house chores. I put a vent inside the basement at like 5 o'clock in the morning. To be honest, I thought it would be really easy. It was a lot harder than I thought, but cutting drywall with a, what's it called, X-Acto knife, not a good idea. Anyways, so there's been some big news in the market. First is on Wednesday, every realtor at 9:46 a.m. ran to their computer and Instagram to post that Bank of Canada did cut the rate. And I think that when we saw, I think it was about a week before the rate announcement that Canada Stats or Stats Canada issued that there's a very serious labor issue. A lot of the money markets already adjusted to the fact that there was going to be a cut. I personally don't think that the cut was necessary. I made a video about this a few months ago when I started the YouTube channel. I think the cut signifies a broader and more deeper situation. The fact that it reduces lending isn't necessarily a good thing. It means that people are going to be more reliant on lending. And if people are losing their jobs, having lower interest rates while they have to lend money to survive is, I think, the main reason why Bank of Canada has cut the rate. It has nothing to do with real estate market, either doing good or bad. That's, I think, different. It's a different perspective. So, now that's out of the way, I did a video, probably, was it, I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago about condos. And if you were to take Google right now and you opened up and you wrote Toronto condo market, you will only find terrible negative news. And there's a good reason for that. You know, we're finally seeing a full action, like the clouds have, passed open. It's a clear sky and we're able to see the damage that was done 4 years ago when we had very low rates. However, that's a dog that's already dead and constantly getting beaten, berated by the media. And I think that there's something happening behind the scenes. Really, I'm not seeing too much coverage, and I made a video about this. I just re-updated the numbers, and I think this is very shocking. So I'm going to put the graph here somewhere. I was tracking between Toronto, which is all of the Toronto from Steeles down to the water, Lake Ontario, and then just a downtown core, so Bloor to the water. Two basically major subsections of the condo market. And I was basically tracking from 2021 to 2025 year to date. I think originally it was like August. I just repulled the stats off of MLS of all the firms sold. Now, take into account, full disclosure, this is just information that has shown that the property has sold. It hasn't necessarily maybe closed, but these are deals that are done on contract. So here is just mind-blowing information. So 2024, we had 1,508 solds, which means from 150 to $500,000, condos only. The reason why we're doing 150, it's because we want to exclude any parking spots that are very expensive, especially in like the downtown core. So 150 to $500,000, we saw 1,508 condos sold. As of September the 20th, we're at 1,581 condos sold up to $500,000. This is some serious news. And furthermore, if we really break it down, between the 1st of September and the 20th, which is today, we had 119 condos sold up to $500,000. Even more so, August the 1st to September the 20th, that time when I started tracking this information, 342 condos sold in Toronto. This is quite serious because we are essentially approaching, like I'm forecasting 1,997 condos to be sold by year end. And this is being done by taking the current year to date divided by 9.5 times 12 months. It's not very accurate, but it's a forecast. We're going to be at 2,000 condos when the rate is still significantly higher than it was in 2021. So what's the backstory on that? Now, if we go even further down, let's look at downtown Toronto, where all the carnage, all the blood is being spilled. What happened there? Are people not buying? Well, they are actually buying. So let's take a look at it. So look right here. So 2025 year to date, we're already at 451. Guys, 451. We've sold, well, not we've sold. Toronto has essentially transacted more condos up until September the 20th versus 2022, 2023, and 2024. Not combined, just separately year by year. We've already surpassed those numbers. This is absolutely astonishing in my mind. Now, if we were to break it down on those two date factors, so September the 1st to the 20th, we had 35 condos sold. Not a lot. Usually September is not the most active time because from the 1st till about, like I'd say, like the 10th, kids are back to school, everybody's pretty busy, nobody's buying real estate. But 35 transactions. August 1st to September the 20th, we had 109 condos sold in downtown core, so Bloor down to the lake. This is some serious numbers. And the way that I forecasted, same formula, 667. So if in 2025, we have 667 condos being sold under $500,000, we will have surpassed the peak year of COVID. Now, I know what everybody always says, that real estate can't keep going up. And the thing is, this is not necessarily showing that real estate is going to keep going up, specifically in this chart. What it's showing is people are buying. And I think that for a lot of folks, especially young people, young buyers, rent costs have been extremely high in the past few years. Now they have come down, but I think a lot of people, and I suggest to anybody who's paying rent, who's not actively investing, boatloads of money in the market, buying a condo isn't a bad idea, especially if it's going to cost you a little bit more money than, for example, renting. And I think this is what's happening in the background, and I'm personally surprised why this is not being more or it doesn't have more exposure, because this is a very important metric. Instead of talking about how condos are not selling, foreclosures, we've had foreclosures all over the past 3 years. It's almost like as if when the market is doing well on certain aspects, people, or let's say certain media outlets, tend to focus on the other side of the story. Now, again, I'm not saying that the market is doing well. What I am saying is a subsector of the market, the one that is the entry level into real estate, is doing quite well. And the fact that the rates were cut, there's probably a good chance you're going to get cut one more time this year. Just depends on how Stats Canada displays information with labor. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear what you guys think. To me, this signifies, I wouldn't call it recovery. I think this signifies take back. And the take back that I'm referring to is the people who couldn't buy in 2021, who had to rent and wait on the sidelines for this whole market to kind of go up and down, are finally taking their hit, their chance, their opportunity, and rightfully so. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Comments below. Have a good one. Peace.